Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our third edition on Showcase Studio of our series called In Conversation. This is a series that we've started doing every Sunday, 6:30 to 7:15. We started with Nathulal Solanki on our first Sunday. The second Sunday, we had Sonam Kalra, and today we have for you the amazing Sunita Bhuyan. The idea behind this particular series and this particular platform is to bring forward those artists that have taken their art forms or their instruments or the sounds beyond all barriers. They've taken the Indian sounds to the international stage. They've globalized music and they've proven that music has no language and has no barrier and can collaborate at any stage and any time and anywhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take more time. And of course, she will be interviewed and in conversation by the eminent journalist, Narendra Kusnur, who actually needs no introduction. He's been there with us in the last two episodes, and he's there with us again today. And as I call him, the encyclopedia of music. So I'm not even going to take time and stay between the two of them. But over to you, Naren, and welcome, Sunita, and thank you so much for being here with us today on Showcase Studio.
Thank you so much, Nani, and welcome. Hello, everybody. And yes, Sunita, hello.
Hi, Naren. Hi.
Hi.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Welcome, and we're just waiting to hear you. So,
Well, first of all, a very warm welcome and a very good evening to all our friends and listeners who have logged on to the Showcase Studio this evening, on Sunday evening. Thank you so much for your warmth and time. It's an honor to be talking to the one and only Narendra Kusnur. And it is really an honor, Naren, that today we're talking with you face to face because you always write about the music either before or after. So today we will talk with you during the music, so that's definitely special. Thank you so much to Nani Singh for putting together this wonderful format. Showcase Events has been doing some wonderful work in the last several years, and Showcase Studio is a lovely feeling of an intimate group of people coming together and enjoying and experiencing certain facets of music that we don't typically get to talk about or express or showcase, pun intended, on the stage. So, very happy to be here, and before we start the conversation, I'd like to give these for world peace, for progress, for sustainability. And the reason I'm choosing this piece is because we're talking about folk music, we're talking about folk instruments coming to the forefront. So a small tribute to Gandhiji, because it's 150 years closing ceremony comes up. A very small tribute, and then we move on to what we're coming for, discuss folk and its world.
yes. Thank you so much. That was really wonderful. And welcome, Sunita, once again.
Thank you.
So, over the next 45 minutes or so, we are going to talk a bit about your music and your upbringing in music, a little bit about Assamese folk, other things. Of course, we are going to listen to a lot of tunes also and some beautiful tunes that Sunita has prepared. So to start with, your mother is a violinist, Minati Khan, and you learned from her. You started at the age of 15, from what I gather. And but of course, there was music in the house before that, and like you've always been exposed to music. Could you tell us your background in terms of listening to music and?
I actually started at the age of 8. Rather, I was made to start in at the age of 8.5. Will not tell you how many years back because I don't want to guess my age, but a very little girl. And she was one of the foremost violinists of the Northeast. In that time, I'm talking about Mars will turn 80 this year in December. And she's been playing the violin for 73 years herself, 72 years herself. She started when she was 8 years old. When I grew up, when I was a little girl, she felt that I must learn the craft, and I learned in her class by the year. And then when she saw me picking it up, it was in the genes. And she said, "Oh, you must learn." And she took me to Guruji, her Guru, Pandit Vijay. And Guruji said that, why don't you teach her? Because you can teach her, and once she is able to play a little bit, I'm going to take over. And that's how the whole journey started. Yes, my mother is my Adi Guru. I am because she is.
Okay, what was the initial learning process like, and how did you get familiar with the style of Hindustani classical music and ragas?
Naren, it was completely a mixed apprenticeship, like they say, because a lot of it was by the ear. Because like I heard the violin when I was in my mother's home because she was always playing, and obviously a lot of the musicality was by the ear, but the technique, of course, was definitely with her teaching me how to hold the bow and the kind of pressure to give in the fingers. Because she initially didn't get Panditji's Guruji's style. She learned from a different. She learned from another teacher, a very very famous musician, Sri Sharma, who's passed away. And then when she went to Guruji, she had to. She learned some more techniques, and that's what she said. The violin has got a lot of power and strength, though it looks very very delicate and it's not tightly strung strings. And the way you hold the bow, the posture of sitting, all of it, impacts your physicality, your health, your well-being, as well as the music. So that's for the first journey. And then, of course, in the meantime, my mother was learning from Pandit Guru Das Gupta on how the academics of music. And then that's how she said, "You also must do the exam." So she was doing her music studies, and she made me do the music studies. It was a very little girl, very overwhelming, very difficult to learn about so many ragas and so many theories. But well, she forced and ensured that I did up to my masters. She ensured that I studied the ragas and take my course.
What are your memories of Pandit Viji Jogji? He is one of the legends as far as Hindustani violin is concerned.
As far as Guruji, everyone knows when you hear about Guruji, Pandit Viji, oh, Jog Sahab, what a beautiful human being, what a wonderful human being. There's a comment about the audio of and he was very loving, and he was extremely he was an amazing soul, and the way he taught his students were always so out of love. And by the time I went to Guruji, it was, I was way past my teens, and I think I learned a lot with him on stage. He would say he bet saath mein baith jao, and he used to teach me with the students, and he would sing and teach a lot because uh, could sing and teach, and then he would sing off the notes, and then he would play. I still remember the small room in his house in Purvabhas Road in Kolkata, and that's how I started learning playing. Within 4 or 5 years, I did travel with him and play. But then, by the time I got in the groove of learning to play on stage with him, we had passed away.
Oh, okay. When was your first concert? What are your memories of your first concert?
My first concert was when I was 13 years old in a city called Digboy. Digboy, when the Britishers were there, this is an oil town in Digboy, Upper Assam. Beautiful, picturesque town. And they used to tell the boys, come on, dig boys. So the town became called Digboy. And my mother was one of those first classical musicians to play in a very westernized club. And she played, and I played with her when I was 13 years old. So that's my first concert memory of playing with her.
Okay, and alone, like when did you start performing?
Alone, I started performing when I was in school, in college, because the competitions and going around and doing those competitions in college, and then I can't figure out which one. My first alone was definitely in college.
Okay.
I played, and that's when you know you get to win a few competitions and you feel very good. So that's how it is.
Okay. When were you exposed to Assamese folk music? Could you tell us a bit about folk music from that region, the different styles?
That was so late in my life, very late. Being an Assamese girl, when I moved to Bombay in 2000, until then I didn't know to play a single bihu sing or play a single bihu. However, in 2010, Gauri Yadvatkar of Times Music heard a small piece of bihu in between my Bimpalashi, and she said, "My God, I never heard it on the violin. It's so nice. Why don't you do a project with us? Why don't you do an album with us? And why don't you create bihu original pieces and do an album?" I was working in the corporate world then. I was heading a learning function of a large corporate organization, traveling across the world. Never thought that I could take a break in my corporate career and do a project on bihu. And that's when it all started, and a lot of hard lessons I learned. And well, it's been almost 10 years that since I've been playing the bihu.
Okay, that album was Bihu Strings.
In strings,
Yeah.
you reviewed it very kindly.
Yeah.
And
Could you tell us a bit about it, the whole recording process, the concert?
the recording process was like a big jolt when I said, I'm going to sing, so the writer who helped me write said that you cannot play bihu because the bihu is a form which is originated from dance. So which means you have to also show the movements a bit, and you have to sing because it's got words which is about love, passion, lust, nature, beauty, togetherness, celebration. You've got to sing. So I said, of course I can sing. Every rag that I've learned since I was 8 years old, I've been singing and playing. So how can I not sing a bihu? कितने सारे Bollywood गाने हम ऐसे गा लेते हैं because I've got classically trained on the violin. मैं singer नहीं हूँ, trained नहीं हूँ. बिहू गाने तो folk गाने में क्या है? गा लेंगे. And he said, no, I don't think I need to make any more songs for you because we have already ruined the first one because you don't know how to sing. There is a different way in singing. You taught me. Then I learned, oh my God, folk has a structure. And so I did the first demo, gave it to Gauri. Atul Churamani heard me play a very little piece during Bhupen's Shraddh, and I didn't know what a big guy Atul was. I said, I'm recording with someone. And he said, you must record this. So he encouraged me a lot to record. And that's when Bihu Strings came out, my one and only album. I had five original pieces.
Okay, I have an autograph copy of
Yes, yes, yes.
that. Yeah. What about? I mean, your training is in Hindustani. You've also been involved with folk music. How about playing ragas in folk music?
So folk has a structure too, right? So, for example, I have with me a pianist, my son Ronaji. Today is not on the frame because the
Hi,
studio.
Ronajit.
Yeah, the studio. Ronaji, can you come on the frame a little bit and at least show your face to people? Show yourself to people. Sorry, that's not the right thing to tell a young man.
He hasn't shown.
Yeah, so that's
Hi.
but because of the showcase format, we won't have Ronaji on the screen with us because we're doing this from the laptop. And
Yeah.
yeah, so Bihu binandia, bihua kiujia kasare, pate moina jan, oh moina jan, pate moina jan, oh moina jan. The Bihu singers sing in a very high tone because they want to match up to the male voice. And I said, I'm not going to sing so high. I'm going to sing in my, in the scale that I can sing. And when I did the note structures, I realized it was very close to Bhupali.
Okay.
Kiti ki the word. Kiti ki sarai, bate bihu bihu, bate bihu bihu, amar bihu bhanuta, yai moina jan, oh moina jan, bihu binandia, bihu anandia, bihu anandia, kiu jia kasare, bate moina jan, oh moina jan. So this was around the notes of Bhupali, but
Okay.
the very conventional bihu goes like this. It's actually based in a rag called Dhani, very similar in Palashmi. This would be the Assamese flute. Uluka bahore, aki oi moina, oh uluka bahore, oi aki, ota porofune, undulayani se oi. Oi amaku no to my heart is beating like a
Okay.
wild breeze, and the way the trees are moving and the leaves, because I'm finding for my lover.
Okay.
Oh, Pulina, que santa, oh, tu marta, oh,
Wow, fantastic. That was Dhani, you said.
That was Dhani.
Yes.
One was one of the new
Bhupali.
who's
First one is Bhupali. Yeah. Dhani, just to add some trivia, Dhani was the name given by George Harrison to his son, George Harrison of the Beatles. His son's name is Dhani based on the Indian raga.
oh
So,
wow.
yeah. So he is Dhani Harrison. Uh, Assamese music, one of the, I mean, the biggest name there, the Bard of the Brahmaputra, as he's called, is Bhupen Hazarika. Could you tell us about how he influenced you, your music?
Like I mentioned earlier, Bihu, it was, just about 10 years back that I was introduced to Bihu. And at the same time, I got introduced to the depth and the facet of Bhupenda's music. Of course, being in Assamese, you have to know Bhupenda because you grew up, he's the legend, a demigod, and, the facets of his music are so wide, his repertoire is so varied from humanity to love to social degradation to rivers. Today is River Day, and his iconic number is based on is the song of the river and on the Brahmaputra. However, I got to know Bhupenda more deeply after he passed away, and that's quite an emotional story for me because Kalpana ji, who was his partner for 50 years, she said that she said, you must play more of Bhupenda's song. I like what you did with his song that the other day. So why didn't you play more of his other songs? And she explained to me in English what each song meant, the way they were composed, the way he wrote them, in what kind of tough, challenging times in his life, and what he was going through at that time when he wrote each of his songs. She gave me a lot of deep background and depth about his music, and that's when I learned that it's not just the writing, his music. Each song has a different pattern to it, a different style, and that's why they say he's a world musician, and he's not he doesn't have one particular style of his composition. So that's Bhupenda for you, Bharat Ratna, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, the Bard of the Brahmaputra, and when we talk of Bhupenda, we'll have to perform the song that is famous all across the world, On the River.
Yeah.
He's inspired by Paul Robson's Old Man River. Ron, can we have some thoughts, please? Is the sound doing okay, ladies and gentlemen? Is it better than
The piano is a bit loud.
loud?
if you
Okay.
can-
Piano can be a little softer. Is the voice okay?
The voice is okay, like that.
All right. Then Bhupenda's song On the Rivers.
Oh, that's too loud. A little softer.
A little softer. Old Man River, the old man river. You must say something, but don't say nothing. The old man river, the old man. विस्तार है अपार प्रजा दोनों पार. The Hindi version. करे हाहाकार निशब्द सदा ओ गंगा तुम ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों? Why do you keep flowing when there is so much degradation around you, so much unrest? People are suffering on both their banks, but yet you keep flowing relentlessly, continuously. God's human race takes you for granted. Vistirna parare apankhyanchare hahakar huriyu nikhapde nirabe o ganga budhalo ituma kiya vistirna pare ashankya parashe hahakar
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was really wonderful. Interestingly, I was just the other day, I was listening to Old Man River, a version by James Taylor, who's recorded the song recently. And today we are doing this. Music is such a beautiful thing, like it cuts across boundaries, countries. We also have a lot of fusion music and violin, especially like violin is an instrument that's been used in Western classical and in India in Carnatic music, Hindustani music, folk music, different film music. A lot of violin is also used in sing. So it is a music. It's an instrument that sort of fits in sort of everywhere. And you also had these fusion. I mean, encounters and collaborations. You went to
You went to
Scotland for years, right?
Scotland.
So could you tell us about the Scotland experience? Can't hear you, Sunita. Can the audience hear Sunita? If you can just put it in the chat, we can see if there's any. Nani, can you hear me? Or is there an audio? Sorry about this technological issue. We'll have to wait for Sunita. But just to recap, I mean, for those who came in late, Sunita talked about learning the violin first from her mother, Minoti Khond, and then from her guru, which was Pandit V.G. Jog, who was a very well-known name in Hindustani classical music and one of the greatest violins that we've had. After which she talked about Assamese folk music and how it is played there and how she got exposed to it and her album Bihu Strings. Following which she showed how particular pieces are played in using ragas. So she did Rag Bhupali and she did Rag Dhani. And then we talked about Bhupen Hazarika ji, who's synonymous with Assamese music, and he was known as the Bard of the Brahmaputra. So his famous song Ganga was what she played, a beautiful version. I think most of you would have come in by then, and I mean, of course, a lot of there were other interesting facets about how she about her encounter with fusion music. We're just checking what's happening with this thing. There are some wonderful comments here, which I'll just read out in the meanwhile till the technology thing is sorted. Um, there's Diana who's writing. Um, Sunita is a global star, and it's about time she had the international recognition for it. The ICC needs to export its best artistic talent, and Sunita should be at the top of the list. So, yeah, which is fine, and we are just about to. We are going to talk about the global side of her music very soon. So, um, and then Ruma Barua responds to that, saying that she agrees with Diana. Sunita and her son Ron are just super talented. They had a wonderful concert in Michigan last year.
So I have just joined only for a little while till Sunita's, considering like it says the Murphy's Law, and this thing always takes over. And we are actually challenging technology, fighting a war with technology because we do not want to do the pre-recorded concept. So Sunita should be back in 2 minutes. I am just adding her back. But in the meantime, Naren, I think what was very interesting was to hear about, the rags and the Assamese folk. And, how beautifully she explained about including classical rags and their base in folk music. And so would you like to share a little bit about that and see and tell us more about that?
Well, I don't. I mean, I think she would be in a better position because these particular compositions she is familiar with in terms of the traditionality. But in ragas are used in basically in all in large numbers of folk music as well as film music. And I mean, if we look at the history of film songs, S.T.
Yeah,
Burman used a lot of folk music from Bengal,
that's right. That's right.
Patiali and Baul and all those styles, and a lot of them were based on classical ragas. So
Right.
what she has chosen here is Rag Bhupali, which is one of the popular evening ragas. And yeah, are they back?
Yeah, we've now joined through Ron's connection.
Okay.
And Ron, you're on.
Wrong, you're wrong.
Yeah, that's poetry. Back to poetry.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that since we're just talking about poetry today and we're focused on, it is uncanny. What's happened today is exactly what had happened during Nathuji's show. And we put it thanks, Sunita. Welcome back.
Yes, we can hear you.
And yes, now we can hear you. And this is exactly what had happened at Nathuji's show when, when we had everything figured out in our tech checks and technology. I mean, now we definitely, we have to admit the technology definitely is way more powerful than any of us are and can get us down on our knees at any point of time. So are we still going to fight this battle and still do live shows and not do pre-recorded ones? I find the pre-recorded ones so toxic and not connecting with people. What do you think about that, Naren?
I think live has got its own charm, which is the thing.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the technology bit is a bit of a this thing. Last time it was perfect, the technology part.
yeah,
Um, so we'll probably. I think they're ready. Are they?
yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Sorry to the audience because I can see the frames are changing and everything, but Sunita, I think it's very clear. Oh, there you are. She's gone. She's, I think, turned off the video for 2 seconds. But however, talking about the violin as an instrument, Naren, I remember you'd written a
Yeah.
beautiful article sometime back on the violin and taking the violin across to the international stage. I'm talking about the Indian violin, the sound of the Indian
Yeah.
violin
Yeah.
going to the international stage. Would you like to share with us a few insights on that?
Okay, I basically talked about how the violin has been used in different forms of music, beginning with Western classical music. Like it was quite a prominently used in Baroque music, like Baroque was being the late 17th century and up to 1750, 60. That was when the Baroque this thing, and the main
Right,
Baroque musicians were Bach, Vivaldi, and Handel. And
right.
Vivaldi was, I mean, he was a guy who revolutionized the use of the violin, and there were other players at that point of time. There's
Hmm.
a beautiful documentary actually on how the violin was started and what he did. So and then I
Right.
went on to Indian music, how it came to Carnatic music, and in Carnatic it's like the most common instrument. Like I mean, apart from vocals, everybody learns violin, and there have been some
That's
great
right.
Carnatic music like Lal Gudi Jayaraman, M.S. Gopalakrishnan, so many of them, T.N. Krishnan. And Hindustani, there have been fewer violinists, but Pandit V.G. Jog and N. Rajam, who's one of my favorite musicians, like, I mean,
That's right.
he's
Yes,
a
fantastic.
legend.
Absolutely.
And film music, we've had lots of violin being played. Pyare Lal ji himself plays the violin of Lakshmikant Pyare Lal. And we've got Uttam Singh is a fantastic violin player. So it's been used across this thing. So my article basically took examples about how the violin is there. And we now go back to Sunita, who's going to play a bit of
Yes.
fusion on the violin, which I also
Yes,
talked about. And
yeah, we're
we'll
back
probably
again.
take it
So
there. Yeah.
we are on the bare sound of the device. Okay, we don't have our sound system locked in. So
So
can you hear us?
come,
Can you hear me
y-
speak?
yes, come as close to this to the mic of the system as possible, and I'm going to exit the stage because I want to be the audience again.
Great.
Yeah.
So Naren, you talked about fusion earlier. So one of your favorite pieces, the god of the god of fusion in India on the
Yeah. Yeah.
violin. Our both our favorite heroes,
Yeah.
L.
Yeah.
Subramanian.
El
So a
Subramaniam.
small piece
Hmm.
to dedicate to him
Yeah.
on
Sure.
fusion. This is the conversation piece, and we're having a conversation. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is
It's
called
the program is called In Conversations and the track is called Conversations. So Mhm.
Well, we need the
Thank
drums.
you.
We need the drums and the bass guitar and all of that. When you talk of fusion and folk, the Assamese folk style most of the folk styles across the world has some similarity or the other. Basically, because the seven notes are universal. The seven notes, sa re ga ma pa dha ni or do re mi fa sol la ti. So that's why they say music is the most powerful medium for collaboration, assimilation, coming together. Like love is universal, humanity is universal, music is universal. So during my travels, I got to travel to Scotland, and I have learned a lot of folk music from the fiddlers there. So this is a song again of the Brahmaputra. However, in between it moves on to the Scottish reel. Let's see how we can get it done today with along with Ron only. We don't have any other musician with us. We just have Ron on the piano, and let's see if we can move a little far away and get ourselves the whole the feel.
Which raga have you used? Have you used?
It's again a bit of dhani.
Okay.
An interpretation of dhani. Yeah, let's have the chords. My body is swaying towards the river, and like all men, the boy sings, she's swaying towards him, and he says, "Noi ka khoria o senai, kabolo yunu jure, na hoinu pete bharar bhar." The song is for Atul Chiramani, who does the Paddy Fields Festival, and somehow I didn't have it on the playlist the time I played in 2017. And also, before we go on to the song, thanks to all the people who joined us. We have Mr. Madhur Bajaj, we have Siddharth Kapji, we have so many of my friends who have messaged me and said that they've joined. Thank you so much. So this is a folk fusion of Assamese, Bihu and Scottish reels. Noi loi hali le yo te ha na dali yo boluka no dali yo boluka ona ro loi hali le kaka pure kami haru se nai bolu dali dali kalo inu sitakuri thako. Then the boy says, Nui kakuria o senai kabo lo yunu jure, kabo lo yunu jure, no hoinu pete hora. I'm a very small farmer on the banks of the river. I don't have enough to take you home. Oi, Louis, তোর বাড়িতে বালিঘর খেলুকে বাড়ি সন্ধ্যা দেখিলু তো? You'll have to say Bulu hoy. Narendra, I can only see you, right? You say
Okay.
Bulu hoy.
Bulu hoy.
Yeah. Oi, Louis, তোর বাড়িতে বালিঘর খেলুকে বাড়ি সন্ধ্যা দেখিলু তো? Bulu hoy.
Hoy.
Atum tu kari koi gharo nahi anilu. The peppa and the dhol are going to blast now. Atum tu kari koi gharo nahi anilu. Oh, yane kari le. Tu kaise leng baburu. Malika sore. Salong se leng baburu. Dikho pilaga. Salong se চাচিনো নির্মলা পানি ওই আজিকালি দেখা যায় মন বাবা নুয়ারি কি জানো ভাবি স্বামী থাকে ইসে গাভরু দেখিলে কাকে সাপিয়াকে not nice words okay naughty things she's saying গাভরু দেখিলে কাকে সাপিয়াকে ওই কাঁধে ঘনে ওই সাই সেলেং বাবুরু মালিকা সরে সালং সেলেং বাবুরু দিকো কপিলগা সালং সেলেং বাবুরু চাচিনো নির্মলা পানি then the Scottish reels comes in 1 2 3 start
Wow. Fantastic. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of my questions. If there's anything more that you'd like to add, I think we've covered
well, I'm
quite a
trying to
bit.
read some comments. The Scottish contact now, Sunita. Absolutely love it. Okay, yeah. So that's my friend from London, Dinah Mevrolian, saying that she loved that Scottish tune. Well, we are there. We have the host of the session, Nani, who's joined us.
Yes, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sunita and Ron. And, despite the technical glitch and etc., you know what? Somewhere along the line, I think we're going to kill technology one day. What the hell? They cannot rule over us like this. So despite it wasn't an internet failure, it was a technology failure. And despite that, we still managed to continue. So I think that's a big win-win. So we got to persevere and we got to try this to give this live conversation feel. I can't imagine myself watching a pre-recorded concert on Showcase Studio. I mean, I lose interest watching it because I would have known what the pre-recorded was. And this way, every element of conversation was a beautiful surprise. And despite our, all our various rehearsals and our conversations, Naren, even you'll vouch for this one, there's lots more that came out today and lot more new things that, Sunita spoke about. And thank you for this, Sunita. It was absolutely beautiful. The violin pieces and Ron, what we are really happy about, and that's what the audience is saying as well, that it's really happy to see the younger generation coming into traditional forms of music and connecting with the traditional forms of music. So congratulations, and we wish you all the best and hope you stay as close to music as you are right now. And of course, as Diane very nicely said, that ICC and many other platforms need to acknowledge such fantastic talent. And it's not just those 3 or 4 artists that represent India. We have a huge pool of artists that are actually doing such good work for good music, and as in original music that you're promoting. And you're not just looking at the commercial angle of music. You're looking at music for music, which was what we really value you for. Sunita, please appreciate. Thank you for this stole, and I love this from the bottom of my heart. It's an Assamese fabric and texture and print. Naren, I don't know if you know about it. I don't know if the audience knows, but it's very close to my heart. This was her first gift to me when we met one-on-one. And thank you very much, Narendra, and thank you, Sunita, and thank you each and every person who came and attended our show. It was beautiful. We've got some lovely comments here, and we apologize for the technology lag. Actually, we don't apologize for the technology lag, because what came after that, I think, kind of made up a lot for what we
Nani?
missed.
You know what? As much as technology failed us in between, but technology saved us too. We had a
Absolutely.
system. We had a full system. We had a sound card. We had Sennheiser mics. All the 3 mics were Sennheiser connected via sound card into that into a mixer and into an Apple laptop. But I think Ron's iPhone saved, and we did the last piece without any sound support into
Absolutely.
bare sound of the device.
Absolutely. So at the end of the day, it's basically that we did not succumb, right, under the technology pressure that it tried to make on us. We still made it, and we used technology to our advantage instead of allowing technology to kill us. So thank you, everybody. And that Sunita is totally sorted on the technology end. Well, to a great extent, this is Murphy's Law. It can happen to the best of us. But she's totally sorted, and she's doing a lot of live concerts and a lot of live shows. So feel free to reach out to her. And you can just message us, mail us, and we will connect you directly with Sunita, and you can take the concert conversations forward. She does amazing corporate programs as well. We did not even touch that subject given the paucity of time, and we wanted to actually keep it only for music. And with an encyclopedia like Naren here and sharing so much more about music. Thank you so much, Naren. And we're going to see you, everybody, next Sunday. We have another phenomenal act lined up. So, Sunita, can we just request no piano, no vocals, just as a closing piece for the audience? One small piece, if you can just play without any fusion. I mean, just a small thing.
Yes, sure.
This is an extension. The audience, feel free to leave if you want to, but I'm being greedy and just asking.
Should it be Assamese folk, or let's do a tribute to India?
Yes, sounds good. Sounds good.
So an acoustic violin with a pickup without any connections. Okay, you never do that, but I'm trying to do that. Okay.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
This was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm trying very hard to control myself from humming aloud.
Yeah, I know. And each of us was like,
Yeah.
they're so popular and beautiful this was. So we can go on and on. I swear to you, I would never want you to stop playing, Sunita, and you know that. But thank you so much. This really means a lot to have you as a guest on Showcase Studio and third episode. And thank you, Naren, once again for doing it
Thank
so beautifully. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for being with us. So the audience, see you next Sunday, and Naren, see you next Sunday. Sunita, next Sunday, we see you as our audience again. So thank you ever so much. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.